Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Now, before we get into this film decode, we are going to get caught up on a few headlines because when you take the side of principle, you sometimes find that people who you used to oppose, you can agree with. That's what principle is all about, right? But understand that when they're agreeing with what we're agreeing with, it's usually a straw man. It's usually a fake. They don't really agree with us. They're just pretending. And right now, the Democrats are not going to save us from AI, even though they're pretending to oppose Trump's federal AI agenda. Now, let's take a look at what's going on. I was able to confirm that, in fact, this whole AI governance by the feds, with the states having no power to, try and control artificial intelligence and regulate it, that this was in fact passed by the House of Representatives. Now, of course, the Republicans are pitching the Democrats as the ones opposing this. And of course, this is why the people on the right will think that, oh, we should give the power to the federal government. You see how they take these arguments and they pitch one side against the other? Even though the Democrats are right about this, they're not right for the right reasons. It's all pretend. Okay, but they have to create this counterbalance. They have to create opposition to get people to fall in line. I wish there was a book about this that we could read about the right-left paradigm so people could understand all of this and how they manipulate us through this. In this case, by pitching the Democrats as being on the right side of this argument about opposing an AI takeover, and they hope that the right will give them the green light to proceed because they don't want to side with the left. Needless to say, the AI governance by the feds did pass, as I said last night in last night's bill, and the only thing standing between it and the law is the Democrats in the Senate. And you know how that's going to go down, right? You see, sometimes the Democrats will pick losers, or let's not even call it the Democrats. Let's say both sides will pick a loser that they know is going to lose, right? So in this case, the Democrats know they're going to lose, just like they knew they were going to lose when they put Kamala Harris forward as a candidate. She was chosen to lose. That was the whole point of it, to empower Trump. And very, very few people understand this concept of how they manipulate us. Okay, it's kind of hard to get your brain around, but once you understand and you see things for what they are, then you can kind of snap out of it. Here's a prime example. There's a million other people that could have ran in the Democrat Party that would have did way better than Kamala Harris. Okay, and remember how they didn't even give their own Democrats a chance to really nominate her. They kind of forced Kamala Harris on her because they knew she was going to lose. That was the whole point of it. We joked around about it and we said, man, they could have ran Oprah Winfrey and she would have did better than Kamala Harris, right? But she was slated to lose. That was the whole point of it. She was like the sacrificial lamb. Now, so here we are. Now, did you ever think at this point in your life that we would have arrived at this point in history? Remember when the Democrats were the first ones to understand that 9/11 was an inside job? Remember that? And it was annoying to conservatives like ourselves. We're like, they're just making all this up. They're conspiracy theorists. Remember that point in history? Oh, they just don't like Bush. They're making all this up. I was one of those people defending Bush and calling people crazy who saw what we saw, but we couldn't see it because our eyes were blinded. And it's crazy, you look at some of the video footage from that day that people are uploading now. You know, some people place like a stencil over the top of it, an outline of the building as it's crumbling, and it literally falls exactly into its own footprint. It doesn't sway, it doesn't lean. It literally turns to dust into a pile of dust from the top down, a complete and total annihilation. And now, 25 years later, we can see with clear eyes that something was not right. But most people at the point where they're like, well, what can we do about it now? Well, there's a lot you can do about it. You cannot build a country on sinking sand. You cannot build onto a foundation full of lies. It just simply doesn't work. There has to be accountability, no matter what the cost. And you can't wait till everyone's dead. You can't wait till everyone's old and elderly. It should be immediate and swift justice for all the people that died on that day. And so here we are again at the precipice of one of the largest changes in U.S. history. The federal government in complete control of things like how many jobs are lost to artificial intelligence, how much artificial intelligence will be used in surveillance and policing and every other aspect of American life, with absolutely no resistance from the states who oppose it. And let that sink in for a minute. And our conservative Republicans passed this, you guys. God help us for the days that are coming. Now, fortunately, there are only a handful of channels on YouTube that understand this right-left paradigm. And look at what we suffer for going through it. Channels like Call for an Uprising understand the right-left paradigm. And all of his channels are taken. He's had to start over. It's hard to build the channels back. Look at channels like ours. Same thing. Understand the right-left paradigm. Been on here for 12 years. We did lose our channel once, but now we're super, super careful. But look at how every time we get subscribers, YouTube just takes them back away again. Have not grown in years on this channel. That's not us. That's YouTube. Casey, maybe you're just not, maybe your message just isn't popular. Well, I'll show you the back end of my channel one day, and you'll see that our videos have a 99% thumbs up rating. In other words, on the back end, I can see how many thumbs up and how many thumbs down they are. And the fact that there's like 10 thumbs down out of hundreds of thumbs up means that whoever comes across this video is thumbing up the video. So that should mean that the channel should grow, right? YouTube would say, wow, you know what? This video has 99% thumbs up. That means we need to send it out to other people. Now, I didn't want to make the show about complaining, but I just want to demonstrate to you that it's not because we're not relevant. It's because YouTube hides people who are outside the right-left paradigm. They want you in an us versus them scenario. Democrats, Republicans. Now, this is crazy. Let's read this. The United States House of Representatives early Thursday narrowly passed a budget bill. This is the budget bill that everyone's been talking about. And part of it, it says here, known as the reconciliation, a 10-year moratorium on state AI laws would mark one of the most significant federal actions on technology policy in decades. Supporters say it would stop a confusing patchwork of state AI laws that have cropped up nationwide and give Congress space to craft its own AI legislation while preserving American leadership. Opponents call it dangerous giveaway to tech firms that would leave consumers particularly vulnerable, communities, and children unprotected, and wipe out a flurry of state laws that address everything from deepfakes to discrimination in automated hiring. Bingo. Now, guess who are the states that are pretending to stand up against AI? States like California, which nobody likes, who have clearly been defeated. So they pitch the truth on the losing side. This is how they manipulate us. So this advances to the Senate, where it says where its fate is deeply uncertain. So they're slating it to be defeated. or to be pushed through, sorry, and not be defeated by the Democrats. It says Democrat lawmakers are expected to challenge House Republicans' inclusion of the AI moratorium in the reconciliation package under what's known as the Byrd Rule, which prohibits the inclusion of provisions that are extraneous to the federal budget in the reconciliation process. House Republicans tucked the measure into a section ordering the Commerce Department to deploy funds to modernize and secure federal information technology systems through the deployment of commercial artificial intelligence. Now understand, all this is going to be run by Trump's Stargate AI data center. It will be the brain of everything. It will be the brain of the Golden Dome. It will be the brain of the surveillance system. And this is why this was put in the bill, so there would be no resistance. It would all be run out of Stargate AI, which both the Golden Dome and Stargate AI are slated to be completed around the same time. And there's the dead giveaway. This is our future. Now, I don't know if you guys had heard this, and this kind of fits into what we're talking about. The sky was torn in half last night, and many people saw it across the United States. The cover story about this giant white streak that appeared over multiple U.S. states is that a Chinese rocket was dumping experimental fuel in space. Look at that. Now, did any of you see this last night? I'll keep reading and I'll show you the actual states that they say saw this thing. But it's like, oh, okay, sure. So certain fuel dumps cause spirals, like Elon Musk's SpaceX, and others form straight lines. Oh, that's because of the atmospheric pressure. And sometimes you have a vortex that forms in the sky naturally due to the... I'm so tired of their lies. I'm so tired of it. Let's read this. A massive streak of white aurora-like light recently appeared in the sky above several U.S. states after a Chinese rocket released half a dozen satellites into orbit. The light show was triggered when the rocket dumped a new type of fuel into space before re-entering the atmosphere. Sure. Wow. Okay, Colorado, Idaho, Utah, Missouri, Nebraska, Washington, and New Mexico. Are any of you in these states? And did you see this last night? See if there's any other pictures of this nonsense. Look at this. Can you imagine? You're up at 1:30 in the morning in New Mexico, and you look over, which to you probably feels like the direction of Area 51, and you're going, oh, here we go. The alien invasion hasn't started. Can you believe this nonsense? Okay, let's go back into the chat. I like to get your guys' reaction. Wow. Yes, because of atmospheric pressure and a new type of fuel. And people believe it. They just believe, people take their word for it. Let's see if anybody saw this. I'm curious. Now, what's the truth? I don't know what the truth is about this giant streak in the sky. Probably Golden Dome, practice run. Who knows? Or they're opening portals. I have no idea, you guys, what the truth is about this. But yes, in one of those states, but didn't witness it, says Honeybee. Did not see it. Let's see here. I know, it's hilarious, right, Danelle? I mean, the buildings fell within their own footprint due to intense heat and fire, which caused the steel to weaken and melt. We're always given some kind of bizarre cover story that's been rehearsed and practiced, right? I've got to go back and find that clip from literally an hour after the buildings fell, and they pretend like they randomly interview this guy, and that's exactly what he said. Oh, because of the intense heat and fuel, the jet fuel caused the steel beams to weaken and fall within their own footprint. Okay. Okay. Zuzu's Pedal says, do you know if I've condensed all my Trump finds into one video? We've done summary videos before, but I would just really recommend the playlist, and then you can kind of skip through the ones you already remember. I've got copious amounts of Trump playlists. One has like 70 videos in it. All right, so nobody saw the streak. Makes you wonder if it ever really existed. I know many of you live in some of these states. Anyway, let's keep going with this. Now, on the heels of Trump dismantling the federal influence on education, guess what's happening next? Oklahoma is now flexing its rights, its education rights, by teaching Trump's theories and tenets in school. Have you guys heard about this? This is Oklahoma. Now Oklahoma's including that they are going to teach that Trump actually won the 2020 election. Now, understand, you're going to be shocked at what I'm going to say next. Understand that a lot of Trump's rhetoric is actually the truth. Elections are stolen. The media is corrupt. And the Democrats are trying to brainwash our children in schools. But his rhetoric isn't true for the reasons that you think. They're true because, again, the right-left paradigm needs the counterbalance and the opposition. It's all intentional to advance the agenda. So at any given time, the right or the left could be on your side or be in alignment with your belief system. But it's not because it's real. It's because they are manipulating you. You see how this works? And at any point, here's the problem with attaching Trump's name to school curriculum. Here's the problem. The rhetoric could completely change, and it could change dramatically, as we've seen in the past, like his flip-flopping on Bitcoin or his flip-flopping on guns. Remember before he was like, take the guns now, ask questions later, red flag laws. And then now all of a sudden he's allowing machine guns. That's not standing on principle. Or how he claimed he was going to leave Medicare alone. And now all of a sudden they're firing everybody and Medicare is destabilized. The wait times are 10 times longer. People are like worried. What's going to happen? You have to verify your address now and all the other stuff that they've been up to. And there's about a dozen other examples I could give you of how he flip-flops. So to attach Trump's name to a school curriculum is dangerous because we don't know what he's going to say next, right? So this could become a problem. Here's what I believe. What we teach our children should not be attached to any one person. It should stand on established basic principles of our country, right? Now, I don't salute flags and all that, but that was a standing principle, right? For those who are still in the matrix and believe that, believe in patriotism and all that stuff. If that's what they want to do, that would be an established principle, right? But you should also be given the right to not salute it if you don't want to. But, you can't start attaching, presidents and rhetoric into school curriculum. But this happened because Trump basically decentralized education. Now, that needed to happen, but now look at what's happening, right? The No Child Left Behind was a complete failure, wasn't it? So this is crazy. So yeah, they're going to teach that election was stolen. Can you imagine? Mommy, I just came from school and guess what? There was an election stolen. I mean, this is crazy, guys. Now, none of this is going away. Ready for this? Donald Trump Jr. says that the calling is there for him to run for president. Here we go. Now, he'd easily win this, right? Because by the time Trump's presidency is over, they're going to pretend like they fixed everything, right? But literally, we'll be living in a police state with 100% surveillance. It's going to look a lot like China. And they'll say the people that oppose it, they'll say they're Democrats and crazy liberals, right? This is how they're going to pitch it. Even if you don't have liberal values, they're going to say you're a liberal. Because who wouldn't want security and peace in America? Who wouldn't want that? If you're not doing anything wrong, don't worry about it. So we are literally headed for another dynasty, much like the Bushes who took us into the millennium from the 1990s. It was a dynasty, wasn't it? And it served its purpose. It brought in the Patriot Act and the beginnings of the New World Order. And now here we are, Trump piggybacking off of that New World Order establishment, also piggybacking off of a lot of what Obama put in place, believe it or not, with the national health care, electronic medical records, which was used during the pandemic to track and trace. It's all one bird. Now, last story before we get into this re-upload. Trump's actually says that autism has to be artificially induced. Strange choice of words, isn't it? Now this isn't the first time he's addressed autism. Trump says it's not natural, and we all know it's not. But the irony here is that the very thing that he made that killed millions of people was made by some of the very same companies that make the childhood inoculations. So, are we ever going to get the truth about this? I don't believe so. Would it be in Trump's best interest to spotlight his own mistake just to give us the truth about autism? So my assumption is we're going to get some kind of canned lie. They'll blame it on something like food coloring, is what they'll say. And everybody will believe it because they'll say, well, at least something was done. And then autism will just continue on. Crazy. Let's read a little bit of this. Trump said Thursday that autism must not occur naturally, citing figures inflating the spike in autism and suggesting the administration's Make America Healthy Again commission could provide answers. When you hear 10,000, it was 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 31 for autism. I think that's just a terrible thing. It has to be something on the outside. It has to be artificially induced. Has to be, Trump said. Now, understand that he knows very well what's causing it. He won't say it. Maybe he doesn't want to be censored. I don't know. But he knows. He knows. And he also knows that the thing that he made killed a bunch of people. Okay. And that's about all I can say about that. All right, you guys, let me check in with you and then we'll get into some of the most specific predictive programming I think I've ever seen in a movie that came out just months before the spamdemic in 2019. The film released on Trump's birthday, and it includes a pandemic. It includes Trump Make America Great Again hats. It includes animal attacks. Let's take a look. It's called The Dead Don't Die from 2019, before any of these things that I just mentioned happened. And yet it's all depicted in this movie. Predictive programming. Let's take a look. It is a zombie apocalypse movie from 2019. This is pre-pandemic. That released on Trump's birthday. Now, that alone doesn't mean anything, but the fact that this film released 6 months before the pandemic began, and it includes clear foreshadowing that Trump would essentially bring about an epidemic disease, which will, or has already started to, evolve into a zombie apocalypse. You're going to see the actor Steve Buscemi, who plays the Trump character, wearing a real MAGA hat, as you saw in the thumbnail. You're also going to hear the signature Trump word very badly, or his signature phrase. You're going to hear that repeated about 6 times throughout this film. And finally, you will also see Trump channeled through a samurai sword-wielding Scottish actress who in real life battled Trump in 2009 over the construction of his Scottish golf course. Wow, right? So let's get started. Now, the story begins in the small town of Centerville, and everyone begins to notice that it's not getting dark outside. The sun is not setting. Something is going on with the sun. Now, the cover story in the film, they're watching like the mainstream media on televisions and stuff, and the mainstream media is telling them that the Earth has gone off its axis due to polar fracking. But there are some people in the town that just aren't buying it, and they play like the conspiracy theorists. So they tune into the local radio to see what's going on, and the radio station is 911 or 11-9 in reverse. Let's take a look at this here. This is unbelievable. Now, the actor who tunes the radio is Adam Driver. And his actual birthday in real life is 11-9. Watch.
Wow, that sounds so familiar.
So they tune the radio to 911 and it's 11:11 a.m. And I'm pausing myself. We're back in 2025. 9/11 has 111 days left in the year. Okay, let's keep watching this decode. Let me give you the date on this decode, just so you know, we're not making all this up. December 28th, 2022 is when we decoded this very decode that you're watching right now. Let's keep watching. And Adam Driver. Now, the song playing in the background is The Dead Won't Die, because that is what is coming. It's a zombie apocalypse. Look at his birthday, 11/19. Matching, essentially, the reverse of the radio station he tuned into. Now, some could argue, oh, well, you know, maybe 119 is COVID-19. I'm not going to try to stretch it that far, but understand that there were 19 years between 9/11 and COVID-19. 19 years. And understand that they told us there were 19 hijackers, didn't they? And understand that there were 19 tridents along the facade of each of the towers. So maybe there is something to the number 19, which is the sun card on the white horse. Let's keep watching because it gets even more specific. Because next you're going to see the character Steve Buscemi wearing a bright red knockoff MAGA hat. Watch this. Now, what does this hat say? It says, "Keep America White Again," or Kawa. Now I'm going to go to the chat. We're going to have a little interactive, and you can tell me what Kawa is. Now, just for the sake of time, back in 2025, I'm going to fast forward through some of this. But you saw the hat. I've never seen this level of sorcery in my entire life. I used to be able to do decodes back in 2012 when we started this channel, and you would see people's mind blown because they were like, that is insane. And now it just goes over everyone's head. How did they know? How did they know? Because they predicted it. And the evidence is right there. This is no longer conspiracy theory. When you go back in time and find these things that predate worldwide events by only a few months, but yet they're spelling it out so specifically. So Make America White Again is in reverse is awake, A-W-A-K. Kawa, awake. But really, everybody's asleep. Let's keep watching here. They speak. It's awake backwards. There you go. It's a walk, but it's awake, right? Because they never do everything exactly. It's always like a one-off knockoff. So let's keep going here. Well, that's alien. Let's go back to this one.
But what happened sounds like the start of a gruesome horror film. Sure does. Everything looks normal out there.
Now, here we are at the start of a gruesome horror film. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but the predictive programming is telling us that something different is coming. Let's keep watching. Now we get the CDC. As you can see on the back of their shirts, it says CDC, except it's not the real CDC. It's the Centerville Detention Center. But obviously, it's the CDC. Now, these
children at this detention center. They're prominent in the film, but I just showed you this one scene so you could see that their shirts say CDC. Obviously, this was added to the plot so that the CDC got a mention, wasn't it? Now, remember, the cover story is that Earth's axis is off due to fracking, which is messing up the Earth's rotation. Problem is that they don't show fracking. They show the Earth and the moon's corona. Watch.
Yeah. All the cycles of the biosphere will be affected. The natural cycles of...
They're literally showing us corona 6 months before it happened. Let's keep watching.
Sunlight would be disrupted.
What the heck is going on here? Why are they showing the Earth with a corona around it? Let's keep watching.
Plants wouldn't grow, wind patterns would change.
Then they show the moon with the corona around it. Obviously.
Now, in hindsight, sorry to keep interrupting myself. In hindsight, what this is obviously a mention of is Artemis and Apollo, the moon and the sun, right?
These people know what was going to happen before it happened. Let's keep watching here.
This is crazy.
A change in the Earth's rotation or its spin rate? That'd be catastrophic for sure.
Caused by the Earth having been pulled off its axis, caused by the polar fracking.
But the authorities and energy people keep saying that's not true.
So she's obviously the uninformed mainstream, believes the mainstream media. These guys are the conspiracy theorists, right? And they know what's going on and they know what's coming, so they're getting ready. Let's keep watching here.
Hey, Dean, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind just dropping a little wisdom until the next delivery.
The world is perfect. Appreciate the details.
So then, of course, enters the rapper RZA is this guy's name. He's a rapper in real life, and he tells us to look at the details. Let me play that back so you can hear that again. And this is the clue that we're supposed to be looking at the details of what's really going on here. Listen to what he says here. This is creepy.
Appreciate the details.
Wondering if you wouldn't mind just dropping a little wisdom until the next delivery.
The world is perfect. Appreciate the details.
Appreciate the details. Now, the first thing that the town begins to notice is that the animals, specifically the cats, start freaking out. Another cat clue. Now, we've been following the cats for some time, as you probably noticed when we opened the show with the cat explanation of the film Alien. And this is where I'm starting to think that the animals are going to start reacting to the people who have been altered by.
And that's exactly what happened. Since we did this decode 3 years ago, there have been an increased amount of animal attacks. We've documented those here on the channel. Everybody knows it. So it appears as though we were correct. Let's keep watching.
Let's keep watching.
Good evening. This is Posey Warren. We interrupt this program for a Centerville 7 News special report. You know what? I don't have the home. You're
Look at this. I mean, I just couldn't find my cat, Rainbow.
People are saying their pets.
So she couldn't find her cat Rainbow. Notice how it glitches out when she says the word cat. So now you guys know I'm not making all this up. There's something about the cats. Now, why are we so focused on trying to figure this out? Well, because when something happens with the cats, people will look back on these videos and they'll go, wow, he was right. Not because I need to be right, but because this is what wakes people up. They go, wow, this really is programming. These people do have foreknowledge of these things. And then that wakes people up and makes people want to give their life to Jesus, because we give all the credit of everything, single thing, discovery that happens on this channel to the Most High and His Son, Jesus Christ. You can't like this channel and not like Jesus. Let's keep watching here.
Look at this. I mean, I just couldn't find my cat, Rainbow.
People are saying their pets have either just disappeared or are acting unusually skittish and aggressive.
And when I finally did find her, she was under the house.
That's so strange.
Very
Where are you
close,
guys?
too, and she had this wild look in her eye. She's never done that before. She's not usually like that. She's very gentle. And when I finally tried to pull her out, she scratched me all to shreds, like a wild animal.
That is so creepy.
Now, it's funny because they call her Posey Juarez, and in real life, her name is Rosie Perez. So they just scrambled her name. She plays the news anchor. Now let's keep watching here, because next I'm going to play for you a montage of all the times in the film where they say the phrase ends badly.
And it seems to be happening all over. We'll have more reports at 11. But for now, this is Posey Juarez for Senate Bill 7 News.
All of my cats are gone. And normally they just stay inside.
Well, I'm sorry about that, Danny. They could be hiding.
Kitties! Kitties!
If you ask me, this whole thing's going to end badly.
This is all going to end badly. What does that mean?
I'm thinking zombies.
What?
You know, zombies. Ghouls. The undead.
So what exactly do you mean, Ronnie?
Oh, don't know. Just a feeling, I guess. Strong feeling. But I've been telling you this is all going to end badly.
Now understand, remember, back in 2025, these guys are the conspiracy theorists. So they're like us, trying to warn everybody that this is going to end badly, right? With zombies. And so they're gaslighting us because still nobody believes it, even when they depict it in a movie. Let's keep watching.
God. But then it ends badly, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. This is definitely going to end badly. We got to give it our best shot.
Our best shot. Oh.
So what is the best shot? Well, it's a play on words, isn't it? Both of them say we're going to give it our best shot. It's a double meaning. The shot. And obviously, they're making a reference to Trump here because he's the only one that I know that says ends badly or uses the word badly of any prominent political figure in the last 50 years that I can think of.
Okay. Yeah. You have been saying that this is all going to end badly from the very beginning, over and over. So what made you so fucking sure of that? How did you know everything in advance?
I just got chills. How did you know everything in advance? We know everything in advance because the Holy Spirit is inspiring us to try to warn people to snap out of the right-left paradigm and stop this moving train, or at least not give it our spiritual consent.
I want to know. I really want to know.
Listen to this next part. Now, here's where it gets creepy. I know I always say that, but it does. It's creepy. Because what you're going to hear next is that they're following a script. And that's how they know it's going to end badly. This is the script that we've been examining and exposing on this channel. The future script of events that had not happened yet. Let's keep watching.
Want to know. I really want to know.
Okay. I know because I've read the script.
You read the script. The whole script?
So then Bill Murray gets upset because he wasn't given the whole script. Only Adam Driver was given the whole script.
He only gave me our scenes.
So understand, this is the division that they've created in the truth community. This is what they're literally showing us right here, that some people are literally turning on the people that pretty much have figured it out, because they're like, how did you know? We didn't get the script. Mind blown. Let's keep watching.
I never saw a complete script.
And now you're beginning to understand that all these actors are players, and political figures are actors as well. They're all players in a grand scheme of programming to steer the world down a set path, and everything else is an illusion. Voting is an illusion. Freedom is an illusion.
All of it?
Yeah, Jim gave me the whole script.
After all, I've done for that guy, and it's a lot that you don't even know about.
Is it some sort of epidemic or what?
Then they call it an epidemic, more clues. Now, eventually, they realize that the dead are coming back to life from the grave, and so the town begins to prepare for it. A rabies zombie virus is about the central nervous system, which is why you have to chop the head off to kill one.
It's zombies.
What are you saying?
Complete decapitation. Just as long as the spinal cord is severed, right?
So then the town begins to realize that when the zombies reanimate, they gravitate towards whatever addictions they had in their previous life. So ice cream, toys, they give all these examples, but here's the problem. One of these addictions doesn't make any sense. It doesn't qualify as an addiction, in other words. Remember, what was it, the electric company? On when during the after school, I'd come home from school and watch the electric company, and the song was, one of these kids is doing their own thing. Remember that? Well, one of these zombies is doing his own thing. His addiction is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which does not fit into the context of the other addictions.
Right.
So obviously, this confirms the connections that we've made to whatever they have planned with virus, pokers, and Wi-Fi. It's all somehow connected, but I wasn't expecting it to be so blatant in this film and out in the open, especially a film that came out before the pandemic. Now, remember, the dead come back seeking their addiction, and in this case, this dead couple that you see right here were addicted to coffee. And in the film, they're the very first zombies of the entire film. They go into a diner and kill all the people in the diner. But notice how they say coffee. And you tell me what you think they're really saying here, okay? I'm going to let this play, and then I'm going to go back into the chat and see what this sounds like to you, okay? I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to, taint the answer here.
Coffee.
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 Okay, let's go back into the chat and see what you guys just heard. Because that was really weird, wasn't it? Let's see here. Unbelievable. Let's see what you guys heard there. Now, I didn't do anything to that clip. All I did was play it back. Well, now let's keep playing this because there's more to this. And there it was. Unbelievable. This was before the word ever existed. And there it was. Unbelievable. Now let's keep playing this because there's more to this as we start to close in on the end of this decode today. More confirmation, because next you're going to see the actress Tilda Swinton. She's wielding a samurai sword. Now, she's Scottish, and in the film, she plays a Scottish person. Listen.
Oh, man. Get a load of these two.
And essentially, she becomes the tip of the spear. Just like Trump from Scotland, his mother's from Scotland. Now, the connection here to Trump is blatant. It's in your face, because when was she born?
She's strange.
She's Scottish. She's Scottish?
The 5th of November. Now, this date keeps coming up, doesn't it? Came up on yesterday's show. What is the 5th of November? It's the Back to the Future time travel date. It's Samhain. The date that another time traveler, Katrina Balfe, from the series Outlander, traveled through standing stones in Callanish, Scotland. When was Katrina Balfe born? With 88 days left in the year. She was,
and the standing stones are 14 miles from where Trump's mother was born. Let's keep watching.
Was born on 10/4. 10:04 is the date or the time on the clock at the clock tower in Back to the Future. I know there's a lot of stuff going on here, but you got to see the forest from the trees here, that they are telling a story. They're weaving a narrative here. Now, what's so special about the standing stones of Callanish in Scotland? Well, they're 14 miles from where Trump's mother was born in Scotland at a 77-degree heading. The standing stones form an upside-down cross. Now, interestingly, Trump and this actress are connected. How? Well, they had beef in 2009 over Trump's Scottish golf course. Now, in the film, she actually mentions golf. I didn't capture that clip for some reason, but you can watch the film. I mean, It's supposed to be a comedy. I don't know. I didn't really like the film. I trudged through it in order to put together this decode because the stuff was so in your face. I had to decode this one. But look at this beef all the way back in 2009. They're battling it out. Now, you're probably thinking, Casey, oh, this is just Hollywood trolling Trump. No, this is not what's going on here. Understand.
Wait. Let me back up. Did you see that about Sean Connery? He's the one that played the Highlander. Says, I have the support of Sean Connery. And this very small group of dissidents have Tilda Swinton. Wow.
Trudged through it. Now, your celebs beefing it out with each other. It's safe to assume that they're really on the same side. How can I know that? Well, they get brownie points from the devil when they're able to divide us through these little beefs that they have. We talked about one such beef yesterday. Talked about Jared Kushner and Ivanka, quote unquote, distancing themselves from their father because Trump was hanging out with Kanye West. And we talked about the hypocrisy and the notion that that is just ridiculous on its face. So they do these things to stir the pot, so to speak, to get everybody divided, and they get brownie points from the enemy for doing this. They just pretend to hate each other and beef with each other because it continues the right-left divide. Now, the movie ends with Tilda going up into a UFO. Now, in the movie, her name is Zelda. I could not figure out the significance of why they would name her character Zelda. I kind of dug into it, but I didn't want to spend too much time on it. So she's taken up into a UFO. Watch.
Right, here we go.
Now, after she's taken up, the rest of the town is overrun by zombies. There's just too many dead. You can't cut all their heads off. And the whole town is basically consumed. And to me, this is clear foreshadowing events that had not happened yet, but only if you have the eyes to see them. And that's the end of it.
So I'll put a link to that decode from 3 years ago for you guys. And another revelation just popped up. I think the reason why her name was Tilda is because if you're on a laptop right now, I want you to find the tilde button on your laptop. For those of you that remember what a tilde is, it's actually a keystroke. And I want you to look at your tilde find the tilde key on your keyboard of your laptop or whatever you're typing on. And you tell me what you see directly above it. It's the closest key to another button, which I think explains the reason why they called her Tilda in the film. Let's see who gets the answer. Good morning, everybody. That was pretty powerful. Now, this is, if you're tuning in, understand this is how relevance and censorship works. Literally, we're the only channel on all of YouTube in the entire world that decoded that film the way we did and proved the foreknowledge of a pandemic that had not happened yet and the specifics of it. You would think this video would have reached millions of people, but that video only reached about 5 or 6 or 7,000 people. Only the people that come to this channel, right? So now you understand. Lorraine Ray got it. The tilde button is next to the escape button. And that's exactly what Tilda does in the movie. She escapes in the UFO. And what that is it's the return of Christ mockery. It's blaspheming and gaslighting of the return of Christ, because it says we will be caught up in the air, right? Wow. Bingo. I hope that came through loud and clear, and I hope people are starting to wake up to all this. I'm in the chat just for a bit now. On Sunday, everything that we have on Baron Trump. We're going to be covering the marvelous adventures, Baron Trump prophecy, and the ancient Scottish prophecy. And I think you're going to be very shocked because, yes, the entire Trump family is slated to carry on the torch of the New World Order. But I think Barron has a special place in all this. Remember the film that we decoded called 2073? And there was a clip where they showed Palantir running the world with drones and surveillance. It looked a lot like China. And then there was a billboard, and it literally showed Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner as the world rulers. Well, it's coming, you guys. It's coming. What can you do about it? Well, not much, but the last thing you want to do is believe Trump and believe these quote unquote leaders that they're taking us to a good place. That's the last thing you want to believe, because you're going to be the first victims in what the future holds. You're not going to have spiritual protection because you've already given your spiritual allegiance to these leaders. So why would God protect you from that? He wouldn't. Because this is a spiritual battle. Our beliefs matter. That's why we're saved through belief in Christ. That's all you got to do. Well, if you're believing in men and idolizing men, then you're not believing in Christ and his message and everything he's told us. Okay. Now, what else is going on? Good morning. Thanks for joining us, Ellen. Glad you guys could tune in. Will there be another pandemic? You know, they tend to only do like one thing at a time, right? So we had 9/11, and then we had to endure all the policies that followed for 20 years. Now we're in the pandemic phase, and we're still enduring the policies from that. And who knows how long that will go. So next time it might be something different. Maybe the next one will be the alien invasion. Or maybe the next one will be full-blown surveillance state. I don't know. Casey, have you discussed Trump derangement syndrome before? Well, I don't like to, I guess you call that name calling, because I hate when people do it to me. So I'm not going to, I can just tell you people are under a spell and they're asleep, and it's becoming dangerous now. Like I'm in shock. You could literally show them something like this and they still don't get it. Like today's video should wake every last single Trump supporter up. The timing of it all, how it happened just before everything rolled out, it shows you that it was all planned. Now, we're not in the zombie phase yet, full-blown zombie phase anyway, but we are getting the animals not recognizing their owners, attacking their owners. We're getting random animal attacks throughout the entire animal kingdom because the animals are not recognizing people as human anymore. They're losing their fear of humans. Why do you think that happened? It's because humanity has been altered. Think of the timing of it. Since when have we seen so many stories on animal attacks? It's because of the people that got altered. And you know what I'm saying? I can't say it, but you know what I'm saying, how they were altered. So there were a lot of things we said were going to happen in that decode that have come to pass. Tips and Chill says they get it, Casey. A lot of people just don't care. They don't have light in them. Darkness comprehended it not. Yes. Yeah, and the whole Wi-Fi thing. Wi-Fi literally mind controlling people. Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, we've been on here long enough, I believe. Again, Sunday we'll be back. Someone asked me to do the live show at 8:30 a.m. instead of 9. So I'll go ahead and do that. We'll try it out on Sunday. Sunday is a little bit smaller of a crowd, so maybe earlier is better so that more people can tune in before they get their day going, So I will do the show at 8:30 a.m. on Sunday. And we're basically going to go through a playlist of all the videos from Barron Trump that I ever made on this channel. It's like 3 or 4 or 5 videos. And of course, we'll get through it pretty quickly because we'll just focus on the decode portions. So it may be a couple hours it might take us to get through it, but I think it'll give us a complete picture of Baron Trump. He actually shows up in Scottish prophecy by name. Literally, it says Baron Trump in Scottish prophecy. And he is the son of Donald. It literally says the son of Donald. So we're going to pull that up. Oh, it says McLeod too, which is Trump's mother's maiden name. So that ought to be interesting to revisit some of that. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Much love. Whoa, what's up with I zoomed you guys and now I can't unzoom you. There we go. Okay, have a great day.